Welcome to Mindin My Business. I'm Janetta Arsenault of the Crown Collective, and this is a safe space for honest conversations about healing, purpose, ambition, visibility, and becoming intentionally. Now, you might be asking, what exactly is Mindin My Business? Okay. Well, here at the Crown Collective, it means healing instead of hiding. Okay. It means choosing peace over performance, setting boundaries without guilt, and becoming who God called you to be unapologetically. Okay, baby, that's minding your business. All right. So, friend, sister, friend, girl, ma'am, pull up a chair. Let's get into today's episode. So, I think one of the saddest things that many of us women learn to do, especially, we the smart, we the gifted, the ambitious women, is to shrink. And it's not because we're incapable. It's not because we lack talent. It's not because we don't have something valuable to say. But it's because somewhere along the way, we learned that visibility wasn't safe, right? We learned being too much made people uncomfortable, too smart, too opinionated, too emotional, too ambitious, too confident, right? Too soft, too sensitive, too powerful. And instead of asking ourselves why the rooms, the families, the relationships required us to be smaller, we just adjusted ourselves to fit in it. Honey, it's exhausting. Okay. So in reality, sometimes you're really not insecure. You're just conditioned. A lot of us are not actually struggling with confidence the way that we think. We're actually carrying years of conditioning that taught us that being seen was not safe. So instead of becoming fully expressed, we learn to become digestible, easy to manage, but then easy to overlook, easy to silence. And after a while, you don't even realize you're shrinking anymore because survival becomes second nature, right? And survival can become so normal that you don't question it. You start apologizing before you even speak. You start over explaining your ideas or your feelings. You start downplaying your accomplishments, laughing off your intelligence, volunteering to receive less and give more, pretending not to notice when your gifts carry the whole room. Okay, your gifts carry the whole family, carry the whole dynamic. So we become committed to being palatable and we slowly disconnect from ourselves, right? So is it humility or is it self-abandonment? Honestly, I think we call it humility, but that's really what it is. It's self-abandonment. There's a difference between being grounded and constantly minimizing yourself to make other people comfortable, right? Some of us have spent years apologizing for our intelligence, downplaying ourselves, downplaying our gifts, making ourselves emotionally smaller just to stay accepted in certain rooms, right? Friend, that's like, we need to talk about that, okay? Because shrinking doesn't always look dramatic, okay? Sometimes it's just sitting quietly in a meeting and you have the answer and you don't say, right? Sometimes it looks like making yourself emotionally available to everybody when nobody's pouring back into you. Okay. Sometimes it looks like downplaying your dreams just so people don't get a chance to reject them. Sometimes it looks like hiding behind perfectionism because if it's never finished, nobody can judge it. Right. And sometimes shrinking looks like surviving environments that only reward bits and pieces of us. Okay. I think a lot of women, a lot of us have spent years trying to be non-threatening instead of fully expressed as we are, as we're gifted to be. Because, baby, there is a cost to playing small. Okay. There is an emotional cost to constantly reducing yourself, a cost to filtering your voice, a cost to pretending you don't want more when you do. Okay. A cost to carrying your brilliance quietly because you're afraid again, visibility will cost you belonging. And eventually pretending to be smaller becomes exhausting. And then there's the burnout, right? Because at some point you realize you've become more committed to being accepted than being authentic, right? And that realization is necessary, but it's heartbreaking, right? But it's a pivot because if you realize how many versions of yourself you've had to abandon just trying to survive in these environments, like you cannot shrink, honey, into expansion. Okay. You're spending years making yourself smaller while praying for a larger life. Make it make sense. Eventually, those two things will start to conflict with each other. Okay. Expansion requires visibility. Expansion requires honesty. It requires taking up space. Okay. You cannot keep hiding and asking God for more, right? At some point, you have to decide, okay, do I want comfort or do I want alignment? Do I want to remain digestible, or do I want to become a fully expressed version of myself? Because the truth is, growth will eventually demand a version of you that won't be able to disappear to make other people comfortable anymore. Okay, being visible also, because people tell you, you think you're too much, it's not vanity. And I really need we women, I say this to myself, to understand that taking up space is not arrogance. Being visible is not vanity. And becoming who God called you to be is not something you ever need to apologize for, okay? A lot of us were taught to confuse shrinking with humility, right? And those are not the same thing. Those are not the same thing. Friend, you do not have to shrink here, not at the Crown Collective, not with Jeanette. No, you don't. Not in your calling, not in your gifts, not in your healing, not in your ambition, not in your voice, not in your softness, not in your leadership. Okay. And healing will start slowly, right? Give yourself permission to return to yourself. It took years to lose it. It's going to take you some time to find her again, but stop over editing. Stop apologizing for your presence. Stop treating your gifts like inconveniences. Okay. Stop asking for permission to fully exist authentically. So maybe this week it looks like speaking up once more than you normally would, posting the thing, applying for the job, setting the boundary, telling the truth, taking up space at the table instead of trying to disappear inside the room. Okay. Homework. Check that, because the world does not benefit when we, the gifted women, hide, and neither do you. Okay. Time for you. Thank you for spending time with me in Minding My Business. Okay. If today's conversation resonated with you, please make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with someone who may need it too. And if you're looking for a deeper dive into healing, purpose, boundaries, visibility, business, becoming intentionally, check links below for additional resources, courses, and always come join us inside the Crown Collective. Okay. Until next time, friend, protect your peace, pursue your purpose, baby, and keep minding your business. I love you.